Want to speak real Thai from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ThaiPod101.com.
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Thai. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jay. In this series, you'll learn everything you need to know to get started learning Thai.
That's right, and we're here to help guide you through your journey. In this lesson, you'll learn the reasons why you should start learning a new language, why you should learn Thai specifically, and how to get started. There are countless reasons, but perhaps the biggest one of all is that it could actually change your life. Learning a new language unlocks new pathways that are off limits to you now. There are certain things that you simply cannot do without having the technical or cultural skills that come from learning a new language.
Like working or living in another country.
Knowing another language provides you with greater job opportunities. You have the freedom to move to another country halfway around the world and earn a living. Or better yet, build a career from it, instead of just being stuck in one place. Language allows you to visit or live in places that you may never have even considered going. Knowing another language simply gives you more options to choose from.
And learning a new language also helps you to be more open-minded and see the world from a new perspective.
Language and culture go hand in hand. The world is a big place, and by broadening your understanding of other cultures, it allows you to be more empathetic and understanding of the many different ways that people live their lives. With language, you're able to see and experience more, which helps you grow as a person.
Learning a new language also improves your memory.
Studies have consistently shown that those who study another language have improved memory as opposed to those who didn't. Learning another language also keeps your brain healthy by significantly delaying the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. This difference can be as much as 4 to 5 more years of quality life.
And those are just some of the reasons you should learn another language. The list just goes on and on.
Now you know the benefits of studying another language, but why should you learn Thai in particular?
For traveling, of course. Thailand is a beautiful and exotic country with a lot to discover. From breathtaking mountains to gorgeous sandy beaches to isolated local villages.
Besides popular tourist destinations such as Bangkok, Phuket, and Pattaya, Thai language skills allow you greater freedom to explore remote areas and fully appreciate this rich, beautiful culture in a way the average tourist can't even imagine. Knowing the language lets you visit sites on your own, and at your own pace, and without having to rely on a tour guide or interpreter.
And it helps you to bargain and get good prices.
In Thailand, you have to bargain for almost everything, from buying clothes at street markets or for transport services, such as motorcycles and tuk-tuk. Moreover, if you do speak Thai, the locals will know that you have spent a significant amount of time in Thailand and are experienced enough to not accept an unreasonable price offer.
Also, it helps you increase your chances of employment or investment.
Thailand enjoys a strategic location at the heart of Asia and is home to what is regarded today as the largest growing economic market. Thailand serves as a gateway to Southeast Asia and the greater Mekong subregion, where newly emerging markets offer great potential for business. It is the best choice for those who seek to find jobs or new business opportunities.
So clearly, there are many reasons why you should learn Thai.
Okay then, we've talked about why you should start learning a language and why you should start learning Thai, but how should they get started, Jay?
Well, it's as simple as learning your first word in Thai and building up from there.
The good news is many English words have made their way into Thai.
Computer, office, motorcycle.
This means that you already know a lot of words in Thai.
Let's teach you something that you might not know, but is very useful. ขอบคุณ It means thank you in Thai.
That's a useful word. Can you explain a little bit about what these characters are, though?
Sure. This is actually the Thai writing system that uses alphabetical letters. It is pretty similar to how English's writing system works. So, we combine alphabets with vowels to make a word.
You'll learn the Thai writing system eventually, but for now, let's put up some romanization to help you get started.
This romanization will allow you to read Thai before you become familiar with Thai characters.
That certainly makes things easier. Well, okay then. Now listen and repeat after Jay.
ขอบคุณ
Now you try.
ขอบคุณ
Your turn again.
ขอบคุณ
Well done. Now you know how to say thank you in Thai. We've covered a lot of things already, so why don't we wrap up the first lesson and recap on what we've learned? In this lesson, you learned that studying another language has many benefits, such as providing new job and business opportunities. Knowing Thai can help you with traveling through the country and bargaining. And thank you in Thai is
ขอบคุณ Do you know that, like English, the Thai alphabet is divided into consonants and vowels?
In Thai, there are 21 consonant sounds and 18 basic vowel sounds. By using all of these sounds, you can form every single word in Thai.
Still seem complicated? Well, how about this? Of the 21 consonant sounds in Thai, you already know 18 of the original sounds.
That's right. If you're a native English speaker, then you already make these sounds every day.
You can also ignore 14 of the vowel sounds for the very same reason.
So the only thing standing between you and perfect Thai pronunciation is 3 new consonant sounds and 4 new vowel sounds. Let's hear Jay pronounce the unique sounds of Thai.
The new consonant sounds that you have to learn are r, j, and ch. And for the vowels, u, uh.
One big difference between Thai and English pronunciation is that all final consonants in Thai are unreleased. Take the previous example for love.
รัก
Do you notice how air in the final K sound is not expelled? This is true for all final consonants in Thai words. If an English speaker were to attempt to say this, however, they would tend to say something like ruck. It's a natural habit to release the final consonant sound. Okay, let's listen again.
รัก รัก
How about this word, which means thinking in Thai?
It will sound like this. คิด คิด
So just keep in mind that the last consonant in a Thai word is always unreleased. Thai is a tonal language. That means two seemingly similar words, or ones that sound the same for Western learners, can have two completely different meanings, simply depending on their respective intonation.
For example, ไกล and ใกล้ ไกล means far and ใกล้ means near.
The meanings are totally different, with a small change in the intonation. So just bear in mind that tone is just as important as spelling in Thai, as it can be used to distinguish the meaning of one word from another.
Thai is comprised of 5 tones in total: middle, low, falling, high, and rising tones.
You need to learn the Thai tones because a word in Thai can mean different things when a different tone is applied.
ไม่ ใหม่ ไม่ ไม้ ไหม middle ไม่ mile, low ใหม่ new, rising ไหม้ not or burning, high ไม้ wood or question word when asking, and falling ไหม silk.
So as you can see, with different intonation, the meaning changes.
To complete our introduction to the pronunciation lesson, I'll point out that the overall syllable must be spoken with the correct tone.
There are no shortcuts to learning Thai tones. The only way is to practice speaking and listening to Thai regularly. Imitating words in different tones, like the one in this example, is a very useful way to practice. Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Thai has 21 consonant sounds and 18 vowel sounds. Pronunciation of all final consonants in Thai is silent. And in Thai, tones are very important, as a similar word with a different tone can have a different meaning. In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Thai grammar. On a fundamental level, Thai grammar is extremely simple, especially in comparison with more complicated European languages like French or German.
For example, verbs do not inflect in Thai.
It means that when you form a sentence, you don't need to worry about tenses such as past, present, and future tense. Instead, tense is expressed by adding a separate time word.
There are also no plural forms of nouns and no conjugation of verbs.
Also, there are no articles and no noun genders in Thai, and fewer prepositions are used.
Any words that aren't essential to the core meaning of a sentence are usually optional and can be omitted.
Wow, doesn't that sound easy?
Yes, it's also very easy just to learn a couple of words and immediately start building some of your own phrases and sentences.
But being a simple language does not mean it is less challenging than other languages. Do you know that the basic Thai sentence is incredibly simple? It is structured with an SVO, subject, verb, object, order, just like in English.
For example, ฉันรักคุณ This has the same word order as in I love you.
Thai verbs don't change their form for tense. Instead, tenses are indicated mostly by context or with the use of words like
จะ will or going to แล้ว already.
So, if you want to talk about the future, you just add the word
จะ
in the sentence.
ฉันจะไปโรงเรียน I will go to school. คุณแม่จะทำอาหาร Mom is going to cook.
It's the same in other tenses, like present continuous tense. You just have to add a word to change the tense.
ฉันกำลังอ่านหนังสือ I am reading a book. เจนกำลังทำความสะอาดบ้าน Jane is cleaning her house.
And to indicate a sentence's past tense, just add a time indication, such as yesterday, last week, 1 month ago, etc., in the sentence.
เมื่อวานฉันอยู่บ้าน Yesterday I was at home. เดือนที่แล้วฉันไปพัทยา Last month I went to Pattaya.
Lastly, the present perfect tense. Just add the word
แล้ว
or already.
ฉันทำการบ้านแล้ว I've already done my homework. ฉันกินข้าวแล้ว I've already eaten.
So now you know how to form a basic sentence in Thai in different tenses. Just remember that the basic structure will always stay the same. However, tense can be expressed by adding certain words. Questions and negations are represented by adding meaningful particles to a sentence without destroying its basic structure. In Thai, a negative sentence is made by using negative words, such as
ไม่ ไม่ใช่ ไม่ได้
The most common negative word is
ไม่
and it's used by simply placing the word
ไม่
in front of the verb.
For example, I'll go in Thai is ฉันไป The negative sentence is ฉันไม่ไป or I won't go.
Do you have other examples?
Yes, I do. How about this sentence? My friend has a book. That's เพื่อนมีหนังสือ As a negative sentence, it's เพื่อนไม่มีหนังสือ My friend doesn't have a book. Another example will be ฉันจะมาที่นี่อีก I will come here again. And the negative sentence of this will be ฉันจะไม่มาที่นี่อีก I won't come here again.
There are two ways of forming a question. First, questions can be made by adding the word
ไหม
at the end of a sentence.
For example คุณหิวข้าวไหม คุณรักฉันไหม คุณเคยมาที่นี่ไหม
Or add one of the question words at the end of a sentence. Common Thai question words are
Who, what, where, when, why, how.
For example, what is this?
อันนี้คืออะไร
Who are you?
คุณคือใคร
Where is it?
ที่นี่คือที่ไหน
Note that the question mark isn't used in Thai. When answering a question, Thai people typically don't use yes or no as in English. Instead, they repeat the main verb, either by itself or with
ไม่
before it.
For example, to answer the question, Are you hungry? คุณหิวข้าวไหม We will say หิว hungry or ไม่หิว not hungry instead of saying yes or no.
How about if I want to ask, do you want to catch a movie with me?
The question will be คุณอยากไปดูหนังกับฉันไหม If you do, you will say อยาก or want. But if you don't, then say ไม่อยาก or don't want.
Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Thai sentences are formed using a subject, verb, object, or SVO word order, just like in English. Secondly, you learned how to form negative sentences by adding one word before the verb. Lastly, you learned that asking questions in Thai is easy, because you only have to add the question word at the end of the sentence. The Thai language has 44 consonants, 32 vowels, 4 tone marks, and various other symbols for pronunciation.
Also, in the Thai writing system, there are no spaces between words. Instead, spaces in a Thai text indicate the end of a clause or sentence. Take the sentences: I'm a student. I have to go to school every day. In Thai, you will write these two sentences as ฉันเป็นนักเรียน ฉันต้องไปโรงเรียนทุกวัน So you can see, we use a space to indicate the end of a sentence.
Now, you may feel it's difficult, but let me assure you that Thai and English are more similar than you think. First, Thai language is read and written horizontally, from left to right. And just like the ABCs in English, you mix consonants with vowels to make syllables and words.
In Thai language, there are 44 consonant letters.
But since many of the consonants produce the same sound, the 44 consonants produce only 21 distinct initial consonant sounds when used at the beginning of a syllable, and 6 final consonant sounds when used at the end of a syllable.
Thai consonants are divided into 3 classes: middle, high, and low.
These 3 classifications are very important when you mix consonants with accent marks in order to produce correct intonation. Vowels in Thai are called
สระ
In Thai, there are 32 vowels in total, with 16 different vowel symbols that combine into different patterns.
And out of these 32 vowels, 18 are basic vowels, which each exist in long and short pairs.
The length of the vowel sound is much more important in Thai than it is in English. Let's say you're saying the word love in short and long duration. The meaning of the word does not change. However, this does not apply to Thai language. A word can have different meanings depending on if the vowel sound is pronounced long or short.
For example, ติ and ตี The first word ติ with the shorter sound means to criticize. If you say it a bit longer, ตี it means to hit. Another example is บุตร or offsprings, and บูด or to be rotten.
Now you understand short and long vowels in Thai. Another thing you need to know is that unlike English, not all vowel forms follow consonants. Some appear above consonants and some below, and complex form vowels can be placed around the consonants. Thai is a tonal language with 5 tones that are indicated by 4 tone marks.
For example, ไม้เอก ไม้โท ไม้ตรี ไม้จัตวา
The 5th is just normal and has no mark. These tone marks are important as they help you apply the correct tone. In writing, these tone marks are always placed above an initial consonant. Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that the Thai alphabet is comprised of consonants, vowels, and tone marks. Also, there are 32 vowels that produce either short or long sounds. Lastly, tone marks are important in Thai writing as they help indicate the correct tone for the word. In this lesson, we'll focus on teaching you the most useful Thai words and phrases for absolute beginners.
Make sure you are repeating the words out loud after I say the examples.
Are you ready? Let's get started. The best phrase to learn when studying a new language is one that expresses gratitude and appreciation. If you had to learn only a single phrase, this would be it.
We taught you this phrase in the first lesson of this series. Do you remember what it was? ขอบคุณ It means thank you.
Keep repeating after Jay until you get it.
ขอบคุณ
Your turn.
ขอบคุณ ขอบคุณ
But what if you want to express even greater thanks, like in English, when you say, thank you very much?
Then you would add มาก after ขอบคุณ
Altogether, it's
ขอบคุณมาก
okay, let's move on.
Wait a minute. Do you know that in Thai, just saying ขอบคุณ or ขอบคุณมาก can sound a bit rude without polite particles?
What are polite particles, Jay?
Polite particles are words that are added to the end of sentences to make them sound polite. The most common polite particles are ครับ for men and ค่ะ for women.
So, if a woman wants to say thank you, she'll say,
ขอบคุณค่ะ or ขอบคุณมากค่ะ
and for guys,
ขอบคุณครับ or ขอบคุณมากครับ
the next phrase we'll teach you is perhaps the second most useful phrase of all. It's to apologize or to excuse yourself.
ขอโทษ It means excuse me or I'm sorry ขอโทษ
Use this phrase when you want to grab a waiter's attention or when you bump into someone on the street.
ขอโทษ
Your turn.
ขอโทษ
Imagine you're on the street and you want to stop someone to ask them for directions. What do you say?
ขอโทษ
Okay, one last time.
ขอโทษ
And don't forget to add
ครับ
if you're a guy.
ขอโทษครับ
If you're a woman, add
ค่ะ
at the end of the sentence.
ขอโทษค่ะ
Now you can say thank you very much, excuse me, and I'm sorry in Thai. Let's move on. Asking where something is an incredibly important and useful phrase to learn. You're going to need this when asking where the bathroom, the train station, or where the hotel is. To ask where something is, put the Thai word for where first, followed by the verb to be, and then add the place you want to find.
ที่ไหน That's Thai for where and you or the verb to be in Thai.
For example, if you want to ask, where is the bathroom?
ห้องน้ำอยู่ที่ไหน
For the train station, it'll be,
สถานีรถไฟอยู่ที่ไหน
and so on. You can ask where something is by starting with
ที่ไหน
and following it with the verb to be. In Thai, it's
อยู่
You might have noticed that this sentence structure is different from English. Rather than saying, where is the bathroom? In Thai, it goes, the bathroom is where? Let's practice these two sentences again. First is, where is the bathroom?
ห้องน้ำอยู่ที่ไหน
Your turn.
ห้องน้ำอยู่ที่ไหน
The second word of this sentence is the word we use for bathroom in Thai.
ห้องน้
Okay, now let's teach you some vocabulary so that you can use it in the sentence. Here are some of the most common words you'll need to learn.
ำ โรงแรม
Hotel.
โรงแรม
If you ask someone this question, they'll direct you to the closest hotel. If you'd like to ask where a specific hotel is, like the Hilton, for example, simply place the name after hotel.
โรงแรมฮิลตัน โรงแรมมนเทียน โรงแรมไดมอนด์
Next,
เซเว่น
convenience store.
เซเว่น
Actually, convenience store in Thai is
ร้านสะดวกซื้อ But in daily conversation, people prefer to use the word 7 for convenience stores. It is shortened from 7-Eleven, a popular convenience store franchise in Thailand. Just think of it like the way Americans prefer to use the word clinics for facial tissue paper.
So the question, where is a convenience store, will be
เซเว่นอยู่ที่ไหน
Our second example sentence was, where is the train station?
สถานีรถไฟอยู่ที่ไหน
Your turn.
สถานีรถไฟอยู่ที่ไหน
You can substitute almost anything by using this phrase
อยู่ที่ไหน
to ask where something is in Thai.
And don't forget to add a polite particle at the end of the question to make it more polite.
In this final lesson, you learned how to say thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, and how to ask where something is in Thai. And in this series, we introduced you to the basics of Thai pronunciation, grammar, writing, and more. Let's conclude with some parting advice from Jay. Listen to some of her tips on how to learn Thai from a native Thai speaker's perspective.
To improve your Thai, I would suggest you regularly interact with your Thai friends, read Thai magazines and newspapers, and watch Thai TV programs and movies. Watching contemporary videos, such as our videos here at ThaiPod101.com, will ensure that you are learning real applicable Thai in the fastest and most effective way, and you'll be able to perfect the sound of Thai by repeating after us in these videos.
You've reached the end of this course, Introduction to Thai, but it's only the beginning of your journey to Thai fluency. Where do you go from here? Check out our Ultimate Guide to Thai Pronunciation. In that video series, we teach you how to pronounce every single sound used in Thai. Or check out any of our other video series. We have many different categories for you to choose from. Good luck as you continue learning Thai, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!
Bye!